feels like summer out there, and their Wolves are still playing ball. You're watching the second round, presented by Wingstop. A whiteout inside target Citadel, ready to roll. It's game 5. The Golden State Warriors on the brink of elimination against the Minnesota Timberwolves as we check the starting fives. Trayce Jackson-Davis back in there through the third straight game for the Warriors with this 5. Same starting 5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Brian Anderson with Stan Van Gundy. And Stan, no Stephen Curry tonight. Haven't ruled him out for game 6, though.
No, and that makes him the most important person in the building tonight, Brian, because the Warriors know if they can pull one out tonight, they go home for game 6 with Steph Curry very likely playing, and the Timberwolves want to get this thing closed out and not get one of the best clutch players in the history of the league a chance to beat.
Lauren Jabbar is going to have more on Stephen Curry as we continue on tonight. Arriving at our first closeout game as Buddy Hield gets up the first shot. He'll go there to clean it up. You can feel it in the building. This crowd is energized. They have not had a closeout game in this building since 2004. Gobert opens up the scoring.
Finds a heck of a pass out of the blitz by Anthony Edwards, and a nice catch and finish by Rudy Gobert, who really hasn't been involved much offensively.
Jimmy Butler gives it up. Podziemski fires up a 3 and buries a 3. The Warriors are going to need a lot more of that from guys like Podziemski.
Keep it going from 3, and then they need somebody else, whether it's Podziemski, Payton, Rudy, somebody who shot the ball earlier very well going. Podziemski now only 4 for 18 from 3. They need Kuminga to keep scoring, but some other guys are going to have to step up offensively, and this defense, which is capable of doing it, has to be absolutely great.
Here's Anthony Edwards coming off a 30-point game in game 4. Made 6 threes in that game. Sets up Randle, who went for 31 in game 4. And that dynamic duo, they have found their footing after a rough start in game 1. Remember, that was after 5 days off. And they have won the last 3 to put the Warriors on the brink. Edwards with the block. Randle taking on 2 Warriors and lost the handle. Right to Podziemski. He'll advise from Julius Randle.
Yeah, and a great effort by Draymond Green to get on the floor.
One story here in this series, they've played every other day through these first 5 games as Trayce Jackson-Davis on the tennis. Podziemski. Coach is going to be 3 days off before game 6. So the Curry story is an even bigger one, knowing that he's got 4 more days Sunday.
Right, because they've got the Valkyries, the WNBA expansions on Saturday, and that pushes game 6 to Sunday, which is a great benefit for the Warriors if, and a big if they can get past this Minnesota team.
Conley hits a corner 3. Crowd erupting with every moment. Chris Finch talked to us about his team needing to come out with force. They have not been as good at home as he would like. We need better execution, production to start the game to get this crowd immediately into it. Wolves for 6 in the West. Warriors ended up with a 7 seed. Minnesota had a great run at the end of the year. They had won 13 of 16 games. And since March 1st, they really turned the corner. They got themselves out of the play-in and into the playoffs. Took down the Lakers in 5, and they got a chance to take out the Warriors in 5 in the return tonight. Anthony Edwards finds Conley again. The lefty fires, no good. And go off of Green, who secured it. That was a nice play by Green. Gets the bruise every time he touches the ball. The former Minnesota Timberwolves who forced his way out of here a number of years. Easy call and going the other way.
Well, they're lucky they just got an out of bounds call. That could have been a foul on Butler. Good call by that one.
John Coble, James Williams, Sean Wright are 3 officials. Justin Van Dyne is the alternate. Dave Fitzgerald and James season, Stan. He has answered a lot of questions about his post.
Cheer from Minnesota on the out of bounds. Minnesota goes to the break up 3, 10-7. And I think they're going to win that challenge.
Early challenge, timeout on the floor. Story is a big one, could be back for game 6.
He could be. It's been 8 days since he had that grade 1 left hamstring strain, and since then has been doing 8 hours of rehab a day. I detailed that Steph attacks rehab like he does everything else, all in. Early on, it was mostly treatment. Now he's progressed to some on-court basketball activity like stationary shooting. Pellegrini emphasized, though, they're accelerating when they can, but not skipping any stages of healing. He said, given the nature of the injury and where we are in the timeline, though, we can ask for a better scenario. Steph will be reevaluated, guys, on Saturday, and Hope City could be on the floor for Game 6. Steve Kerr's optimistic.
Thank you, Laura. Good stuff there. Good report on all the things that are going into this stand. And of course, Minnesota wants no part of that. They want to eliminate the Warriors right now. It would buy them some time off before the Western Conference Finals as the Rockets go strong to the basket. So Stephen Curry, again, it's not something you can just deal with the pain and play through. It's a hamstring injury. Draymond Green with a nice finish. These are not things that you can just get back on the floor because it doesn't stay stationary. It either gets worse or it gets better. The only way it gets better by saying this was from game 1 when Stephen Curry had to come out.
Yeah, there's no question. Look, Steph Curry is out there. If he could be out there. And against the Warriors zone right there, a great screen by Rudy Gobert. That's how the Timberwolves have tried to attack the zone. Screen it up top on the guards. Gets Anthony Edwards the room to knock down that 3.
Majewski, nice pass with his offhand. And Butler's going to draw the contact. Free throws coming in. Substitutions off that Minnesota bench as well. And a chance to remind you the game totally changes without Stephen Curry. But let's not discount who the Minnesota Timberwolves are and what they
found their offensive rhythm. They've been good defensively all year. They're in a masterful job.
Basketball operations with the Wolves. He was the man who built the Denver Nuggets for 10 years there. Pretty much that roster he built in Denver went on to win the championship in 2023. They got a good thing going here. They have one of the game's greatest stars.